Hey everybody, this is Scott Bowman. I am the creator behind Idea Brickworks, and this is episode 16, our season closer for 2020. Who would have known that this little thing that started with Sam and I kind of had the idea after we did some video blogs at the STEM Moonshot event at the, what the heck, Museum of Flight, thank you. Um, and and it's been fun. So we've had a lot of guests over the year. I invited everybody. We'll see who shows up, but I've got the regulars. Peter's on, Joe is on, Sam is on. So with that, no agenda, no procedure. My kids are probably going to join me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we will introduce what we're going to do today and go with that. So what are you going to do today, Peter?
I have two different things. I have something I'm building in studio that I can't really show until January, and then I have some other sets I got to rebuild. So.
And Sam, you're looking very Christmassy.
Of course, everybody needs a bit of cheer in their lives these days. I am completing my TARDIS that I designed and built myself. I'm just about to do the roof and finish off the doors and a couple of bits around the signs and things. And hopefully, if I do it right and I don't mess up, you'll actually see me put the roof on in the show.
Hey,
Sam, how did you get it to be bigger on the inside?
That's a secret, and will all be revealed when I put the roof on.
Okay.
We're working on the temporal displacement device right now that will fit in there.
Okay.
Correct. Team effort.
Yeah.
Team effort, yes.
And what are you working on, Joe?
I'm working on my madness, my insanity. So I just on a whim, I was looking at some old Boeing design experiments back in the 60s. They were trying to modify the Saturn V to lift more stuff into orbit. And I found one called the Saturn 23L, and I decided to reproduce it. I just call it the Saturn V Heavy, but I need to do some modifications to it. And that's what I'm going to be doing today.
So is there even a launch pad that would survive the launch of that, dude? I mean, it was close with the Saturn V.
They would really have to modify they'd have to modify the mobile launcher and the LUT a lot in order to get it to do that. So.
Well, just think about the vibration. I mean, the shuttle was bad enough with the sonic vibrations. And now you think about what are we talking about? We're talking about 3 second stages or 4 second stages with the first stage.
Well, it's what I have is it's a first stage, an S1C, and then it has 4 boosters, and each booster has 2 additional F1 engines. So
it's not quite a second stage then. Okay, so.
No, it's huge. Yeah. So I don't know how to answer that question. I'm an electrical engineer, not an acoustic engineer. But no, that would be nuts. But anyway, what I'm actually doing right now is looking at some of these old studies, these old Boeing and Lockheed studies, and coming up with a whole mix and match grab bag of modified Lego Saturn Vs that I hope to be able to let everybody try.
I might have to buy a Saturn V when I go to the shop.
Yes. Do it.
This app is very cool. This streaming app.
I've
never used this before.
Yeah, it's StreamYard.
Wow.
And I've got the bottom subscription, so you can badge it a little bit, and Sam did a lot of that. And you can bring up comments.
I gotta tell my government social media folks about this, because that's the ability to stream once and have comments and questions from all the platforms. It's
Right.
pretty
Plus
cool.
we're recording, so it'll
Right.
be.
Speaking of comments and questions,
Yes.
our other regular who can't be with us today, Mr. Bradford, says howdy. And he would
Thanks, man. I wonder, I meant to ask him which job. Does this mean he's on the back of the Zamboni or
The
Zamboni?
Zamboni.
Zamboni? What? Is he?
Zamboni on the Zamboni.
well, funny enough, we asked for questions, and Sam Bradford is asking questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Where do you source your brick for the Saturn V?
In bulk? Which one? Micro or the?
I was going to say, micro isn't too bad, but if he's talking about the big 12-footer, then...
The big one, that is direct from Lego through the project support. So you have to do a project, and so I got those. He is driving the Zamboni. He just said
He is
that.
indeed.
Watch the road, Sam.
Right. So, also known as Mr. B.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because otherwise, the big one.
Like at an ice rink? He's
Yeah.
doing that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's in graduate school, right? He's
No, he's
undergrad.
still in his undergrad right now.
He is, yeah. So he's a poor college student.
Been there.
Been there. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm helping with the project here in Maryland, and I wouldn't have gotten this for myself, but I really like the brick built sails. So I'm going to build the pirate ship, and then Abby.
I've got the Louvre, which we have built, moved to this new house a year ago, broke apart, and I always meant to take it all apart and rebuild it, so I'm gonna do that. But then if Merritt comes by, he's done playing his online games. We have that Moonshot mini kit.
Micro.
So I'm sorry, I have to ask.
Fives before somewhere.
I have to ask, what part of Maryland are you in right now, Scott?
By it's Silver Spring, but kind of the northernmost point. It's Colesville, technically.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Bel Air.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
hi, Maryland.
We just moved here a little over a year and a half ago. So we've been DC residents, Virginia residents for almost 2 years, and now finally bought the house, Maryland for life.
Bought the house, now have major remodel.
Yeah.
We're reenacting the money pit.
Mert says he's watching us.
Oh,
Merritt, come over here and build something. So antisocial.
he does love his games.
Yes.
So I lived in College Park for about a month.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
We're
And,
like 15 minutes from there.
I stayed at the Marriott on the University of Maryland's campus,
Nice.
and
The Fighting
I-
Puffins,
yep.
Fighting Turtles.
Yeah.
I was staying with Marriott for like a year at that point because I was living on the road for a year.
Oh,
I had so many points racked up. Anytime I checked into a Marriott, I got the best room available, no matter what price I booked. So I had the top floor of the executive suite for a couple weeks, and it was ridiculous. Like the hotel room was larger than my parents' house, and there is a 14-seat dining room table in this hotel room.
oh my God.
And
Gosh. Oh my God.
so it was
Oh.
funny because it's like I was just working as a field engineer at the time, and I'm just coming home with like my tool bag and stuff, and just into this ridiculous suite.
Lap of luxury.
Yeah, it's like when I used to travel a lot, and if I was on a domestic flight and I didn't get bumped up to first class, I was mad. Now I just like to travel someday.
Oh, I see. This must be the alternate build.
There's 3 in one.
Yeah, but I'm just,
What's the third?
that's what I was just.
Is it the little box in the front?
So, one second. So what is the So I guess what is the time frame on those custom printed pieces that we've been working on?
Those, I got that order in, what was it, Wednesday, I think? So, but I told them since I can't be there, that it'd be early January.
Okay.
So once I get back, then I can get them, to you, get yours through. So don't forget to send me your address.
I'll try.
So everybody was happy with theirs.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very happy.
So I guess maybe we should say what we're doing, so
Sure.
everyone is. So yeah, let's see. Peter did some designs for us. I'm trying to put together a kit of my 1-73 Skylab Lego kit, and Scott convinced me somehow to go ahead with a custom printed brick if you buy the kit, and also just make it available. So Peter did the design of that, and we're getting that printed out. He also did a couple bricks for your kits, right, Scott?
Yeah, so I will have a, well, it could be used either for the Lego Ideas Saturn V, or it could be, maybe Peter could bring those up on his screen. That would probably be,
Yeah, I can do that.
what was I saying? Oh, so it could either be with my Micro Saturn V or with the Lego Ideas Saturn V, the plate. I will probably design a very, very simple stand for the Micro that would come with the, with the plate, so that it would come together. I'm still thinking about how to do that, because I've also thought about, a lot of people want something that's less than an LUT, but more than that stand that, well, I use it too, but it's that kind of 4-pronged stand. So I may come up with something that would be, so you might be able to get it a couple of ways. And then also getting closer and closer to the shuttle. So right now Peter's working on the stickers, and once we get the sticker set done, I've got 5 of those ready, and then I'll be selling the International Space Station scale orbiter. So there's the Skylab.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I like it.
And it's going to be on the same 4x6 modified plate that the International Space Station comes on. So the way we've designed it is that all of these kind of match all the different ones. So
We
there's
have them
one
all
for,
together, yeah.
so I'm hoping that people will like these just because they tie together all the different space themed builds.
I guess I'll share something else. I've gone through making a template to design custom minifigures in Studio. Because before it was like they don't have any outlines or anything. You just had to like draw and do stuff to get exact. So I basically took a high-res screenshot of their import screen and basically
Nice.
did the fronts and backs of all the elements and arm printing. And this is somewhat of a tease, I guess. I decided I'm going to do a collectible minifigure series, Star Trek II themed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm starting with Khan here, and
You pronounced it wrong.
I
It's
did.
Khan!
Yeah, we could all sit here and do our best cons, couldn't we?
So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a dual head, and just give a regular angry face, and then the backside's gonna be bloodied up, like at the end of the movie.
Yes.
So, and
Oh God, I stab at thee.
so this is gonna be somewhat of a large undertaking for me because I'm not a graphic designer by any means, but I just design stuff for these people.
Didn't I just hire you to be a graphic designer?
I know.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
teaching myself as I go.
Oh no.
Peter,
So
how much man cleavage is your con gonna have?
Oh,
Ooh.
as much as I
Yeah,
can
you gotta
figure
show
out
off
where
those
to go.
wonderful. Sorry, you gotta show off those wonderful flaxen chest hairs.
Oh yeah, yes.
I mean, he deserves it because he was not in good health when he filmed that movie, but he got his
Really?
upper body in such great shape. Like, and if you go back and watch the movie, he's hardly ever standing. He's mostly sitting down.
Oh wow. I did not know
And,
that.
I think at times he was even using a walker to get around on set.
Wow.
Wow,
my hat.
I wouldn't have noted. I wouldn't have known that.
That's crazy.
What was
And-
the health issue?
The other thing is, him and Kirk never have a scene together in that movie.
Huh.
It's only over the radio.
Oh
That's
wow.
a very good point, yeah.
Huh.
Was that because they couldn't get along?
Probably.
Well, I mean, it's
Like, oh my word, we've got characters.
I think it was just because of the physical limitations of Ricardo Montalban as well. They're like, well, if these two are in the same room to each other, they're going to tear each other apart. And he was really in the condition to do an action scene.
True.
So,
That's funny.
and I'm thinking about when I get this to a certain point of sharing this template with the Facebook group because I've seen other people wanting to.
So are you going to take the step to sell the minifigs?
No. Just because it's, I don't want to get in a licensing battle with CBS.
Good point.
So this is just going to be a personal art project. Maybe.
Battle with who?
What's that?
Would you be
Oh.
getting in the licensing battle with?
CBS or Paramount Viacom, whoever owns it now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like I can't sell anything that's like.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Well, yeah, and then there's
I
also
know people do it. They just sell it as like a space adventurer.
Right.
And I don't want to be that person.
Right.
Because
I
I
don't
know
want to be.
there's companies that sell minifigs that Lego doesn't make, and I know they've done like Doctor Who, and they've done like all the Doctors, but I don't think it's not listed as Doctor Who on their website.
Yeah, true.
Man with bow tie.
It's Professor what?
So, but I'm thinking about instead of just giving this template away on the Facebook group, I'm thinking about just making a video tutorial on my channel and then have the link to share it in the video. So I at least get something out of it instead of just,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Because you're trying to monetize your YouTube channel anyway, so
yep, getting closer every day.
cool.
I almost have all the watch time. I just need to get 500 more subscribers.
Oh.
Only.
Hey, yeah, and we talked about doing tutorials on studio topics.
Yeah.
If you want me to do anything on Instruction Maker, let me know because
Yes.
I'm pretty much doing that all the time now.
I've actually started a Google Doc that I probably should share with you guys, but I'll bring it over here. I started making a rough outline.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help too. Oh, speaking of studio, a couple of things I noticed, which maybe you guys did, that I think it's worth mentioning just in case somebody else hasn't seen this. I noticed today finally, or not today, but this week, that you can hide a part in a hidden parts menu, because there are a couple of parts that are old, and like one of them is a jumper plate that has no groove, and it's like 40 cents versus the jumper plate that is the one I always use. So I've been hiding all these bricks that sometimes I grab quickly without really thinking, put them in, and then my price.
So how do you do that?
What?
How do you do that?
Right click on the part and there'll be a hide.
Oh, okay.
And then if you hide it up in the upper list, there'll be hidden parts. So you never really are getting rid of it. You're not deleting it. It's just allowing you to. And you can hide categories too. Like I've hidden animals, I've hidden minifig, because I don't use those very often. Now when I do though, I can just go right to the hidden ones.
So I'm not going to say this always works, but when I'm looking for a part and there's like, 3 iterations of it through the years, usually the one that's currently in production is the first one listed. So that's
usually not always.
Now you can hide it and not ever see it again. And that's
gotcha.
Because I'm always buying new parts, right? So for the kits, so I've got to be, and one of the reasons that this even came up is in the version 2 of the Micro, I have the connector, axle connector, and it turned out the one that I had used in my model that I kept using for my wanted list was 60 cents each, and there were 2 of them. And it turned out they were getting really hard to get. That's what made me notice it. So I went to look for alternatives, and it turned out the alternative was like 7 cents. And so now I can just get rid of that connector so I don't have to worry about it. So
that sounds familiar, Joe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It sounds very familiar. How much were those? Here, I'll bring it over.
The sand green 2x2 macaronis.
Oh,
those were offensively priced.
Yeah. So those ones right there.
So I wanted to build Joe's Delta 2. So and he sent me the instructions for it and the IO file. I got the one to do. Popped into Bricklink and I went, yeah, at £1,000, I'm not entirely sure that that's worth that.
wow. £1,000?
Because of the amount of 2x2 macaronis he's used and the colour, they were coming in at like 60 odd quid a piece.
Yeah, Sandrine. Peter, you may want to.
But
there you go.
And and I said, Joe, is there any way you could use a different part for this, please, mate, to make it a little bit more cheaper?
And I said, oh, I didn't realize that I had used a more expensive version of that macaroni piece. And yeah. Okay, I don't want to be like critical of people who buy my instructions, but again, I'm relatively new to everything, and so I understand. Like I've made a lot of mistakes, but people would ask like, well, for your LUT, you have 100. You have 100 of this piece. Can't I use, the newer replacement of it? And I was like, why are you even asking me? Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, don't ask.
But I want to make it exactly like yours. I'm like, I have 2 of them, and neither of them are exactly alike. Like, I don't even follow my own instructions. Do your thing.
That is so true. With this TARDIS, I've been sat here and I've been going, and I don't have instructions. I'm literally doing this off my model that I built in studio, and I'm sat here going, yeah, how is anybody else going to build this ever?
Well, or you're like me, you know, when you get to the point where you're building your kit, you know, that you're trying to put together the final instructions for the kit, and you're building it, and you decide to change it, and you already ordered all the parts.
Yeah.
That's always a fun time. But yeah, I really try to update it. Hello. Look at this is kind of cute. A little blue bird of some kind.
Oh.
It's cute.
That's adorable. This is our fat cat Loki.
Hello, Loki.
Loki has thyroid problem, which if you're watching the new Discovery, you'll know why that's a funny
Has what problems?
thyroid problem.
She doesn't. She just overeats.
Exactly. But if you're watching the Discovery season 2 or 3, then you'll know why that's.
I don't know what the show is. What show are you talking about?
Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, I don't think they made a Star Trek show since 2004.
You know what? I totally agree with that.
You're really missing out because it's great.
So I never watched Star Trek growing up, which is, I'm going to blame on Dad. And so my quarantine show has been TNG, and I have loved season 6, and it's amazing.
Scott, I'm not going to lie, but that's some disappointing parenting.
Right?
You're not even introducing your family into Star Trek.
Child abuse, yes.
So I've joked about this before, but I'm dead serious that I think my moral center is based on Jean-Luc Picard. Like, some people say, what would Jesus do? I'm like, what would Jean-Luc do?
Yep.
They're the worst role models.
When it's been really like therapeutic in such an effed up year too.
Yeah.
As long as he's your role model from the TNG show and not his own spin-off show from this year.
I didn't watch it, and it looked really bad.
It was bad.
Okay.
The Picard show.
You know,
I used the word like, I didn't say love, all right?
yeah, I don't love it, but I'm also, my tolerance of entertainment, I watched it. I didn't have to pay more than the subscription for it.
I was just upset that it was like a total fascist representation of the Federation. I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
Why is everyone a racist and fascist now?
Right.
We have a new part. Hard to show, but basically it's like a radar dish with an axle hole that they're using as I wonder if this might be for trains, because it's got an axle hole and it's definitely like the wheel on a train.
What is it?
Trains. So, although, is anybody else tempted to get that model train, the electric?
The crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at that for a while because that's been out in the UK for quite a while. I've been sat there going, do I? Do I? Again, the only problem being is I have enough versions of Skylab, Delta 4, Saturn 5s, you know, that I don't actually have any more room for this. When I finish this TARDIS, I don't know where it's going to go.
I have an entire room dedicated to Lego, and I don't know where everything's going. I take things to work just to get them out of my room.
Yes, you did send me a picture of that, and I was sat there going, that's actually a pretty damn good idea.
So I have a storage facility in Idaho if you need help.
So do I.
Okay, but Peter, that would involve me going to Idaho.
Oh, I mean, I would come and get it. I would come and pick it up for you.
I don't think Joe would be caught dead crossing that
I
border.
don't think you got a lot to brag down in Utah. I'm just saying.
Look, there are very few places I can say, yeah, but Utah's better than that. And that's Alabama and Idaho.
I mean,
Just
I'm not
maybe-
really going to fight you on that because it's like I'm really disappointed in the citizens of Idaho this year. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I'm right on the border of Utah County. I don't want to go into Utah County because of what I think you're talking about.
Yeah. Do you see Bundy is trending again? That guy needs
that
to be in jail.
that domestic terrorist needs to be dealt with.
He really
That
does.
is exactly what he is. And just because he's white, he didn't get shot by the FBI or whatever back when he held that federal building. He had guns and everything, and he just held sorry.
And got away
We
with
are talking about Lego. Happy Lego.
it. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Joe, for putting us back in the.
So, anyone, ask us questions. If you're watching and you know, I see 3 of you are watching. I see the numbers in the corner. Ask us questions. Ask Joe questions about when he's going to be releasing his Saturn V Heavy instructions.
Yeah.
Because we all want to know. That is the only question that needs to be answered this Christmas.
Test builds are done. Okay. Can I share my screen real quick?
Of course you can, mate.
Okay. Actually, hold on. Let's make sure I got the right ones here.
Yeah,
Because I'll show you what my brain has done to me.
And just so everyone knows, this is a warning. The inside of Joe's brain is a scary place.
It's a whole lot of Mountain Dew game fuel, and rockets, and that's pretty much it.
Rockets.
Do you know what worried me this morning? I woke up at like 2 o'clock this morning, UK time, I should specify. And I woke up and I thought, do you know what? I'll just check my phone. Leaned down to check my phone, and there was a message from Joe going, "Oh dear, what have I done?"
Yeah, this is what I sent
This
you.
is exactly what he's about to show you here. He sent me this picture.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm sat there at 2 o'clock in the morning going, dude, what?
Just think of where we could be if we'd actually proceeded.
Yeah, see, and that's the sad part. So I'll explain just real quick. Here's your stock Saturn V. This was a modification they were going to do with a stretched first stage and a stretched third stage. This
More? Do you think
is
just a little?
that stretched first stage with space shuttle style boosters. This was a study that they did. This is with the 4 liquid boosters that I made, and this is real. These are the largest solid rocket they're the largest rocket motors ever built. Were these 260-inch diameter solid rocket motors that they test fired.
Oh.
And the way they test fired them is they dug a big pit, turned them upside down, stuck them in the pit, and fired them straight up.
Excellent. That's
So-
a good method of doing it.
Test stand.
What was that?
Who needs a test stand where you can just put it in the ground?
Just got a hole. So basically, this is me just taking a bunch of things and modifying them to match the specs that like Boeing or Lockheed or whoever put out. And then this last one over here is just, I call it the Saturn III. I just took the model for one of my boosters and stuck the upper stages of a Saturn V on it.
Huh.
And that booster should be about the same amount of thrust and performance as a Saturn 1B. So I was like, oh, there you go. Replace the Saturn 1B. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is
So just
Like-
orbit only.
just release the instructions for each part of it, and then you just build your own thing.
Don't be surprised if at 2 o'clock in the morning your time, you get a message from me that says, "What have you done here? This makes no sense, mate."
Okay, I do also have to point out our dear friend Sebastian Schoen. He he designed, like, I took this from his Nerva rocket engine design. So that cone up there belongs to him. Probably the reason why I'm not going to sell any of this is because I took these SRBs from someone else's design. I took that from him. I'm just like, this is just something everyone can have is what I'm doing. And then, yeah, here's that other picture I sent to Sam. This is my office.
I like that you put your screensaver.
It's rotating through a bunch of space pictures. So
He
It just
assured
happened to
me
be
it's purely intentional. Purely unintentional. Complete fluke.
purely unintentional. Anyway,
We decorated my wife's office with all the Christmas Lego we have, which would normally be at Festival of Trees, but since that event got canceled, and I even put the Saturn V up because I have two of them, so I put it up as well. I need to post that, but they had about a week before then they
Back to
her Simplot went to work from home again. So
I finished my roof,
okay,
hey,
nice.
and these bricks are, by the way, are printed by a guy in Canada. And oddly enough, I didn't order them to the 1st of December, but they've actually arrived quicker than the majority of the parts I needed for the TARDIS, which I'd ordered at least 6 days beforehand. So, well done, Canada. However,
Canada.
now comes the hard part: attaching the roof to TARDIS. Wish me luck. This is going to go horribly wrong if I.
What is the attachment method? Is it anything weird?
I bet
No,
don't you think?
just
What?
a lot of them.
And tubes. I'm just saying.
Use steel tubes.
No, I have adopted some of Scott's methods though. So Scott, when he does the massive Saturn V, he uses a nice lattice structure of Technic bricks on the inside, which is a nice square. Then that he then uses to support the metal tube inside. Because my roof got a little big, and admittedly my roof was the first thing I actually designed on the TARDIS. I don't know why. Don't ask me ever. I used that lattice structure to actually build up the roof to give it enough support to then slant it and make it pretty awesome. However, I've now got one problem of trying to fix said roof, and it doesn't want to go.
no.
Let me have a look.
That's
Oh,
Ooh.
that looks wrong.
You know what? Through the video, I can't tell.
Stay. Bad corner.
That has to be a good structure so we can fit the temporal displacement device in it there, Sam.
The thing is, I'm pressing down on particular areas of this, and I'm realizing how flimsy some of my structure actually is. Actually, yeah, I might need to. I need some plates, and I know I don't have any of these plates available right now.
Again, not that that's ever happened to me.
So I got a bug report in studio. Last couple animations I've been doing with the Revolution, I moved the center of rotation to where I want it, but it's not doing that. It's doing its own thing. I don't know why it's doing that. Like in my preview, it shows that the center rotation's at the center of my object, but it's like off by like 8 to 10 studs in one direction.
That's weird.
Yeah, there are some things about the animation. What do you call it? Yeah, rendering animations that I still don't quite understand.
Which
You might be able to poke the eyes and make it angry.
I kind of like
I have found
that. Happy Shark.
Happy shark.
Happy
Okay.
Shark.
Happy Shark. Oh,
Don't
have-
that song will now be stuck in your head all day.
Hey, wait till we have a 3-year-old who won't stop singing it.
The song name.
What was that?
Yoda do 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 do, baby Yoda do 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 do.
I gotta go. I can't
This is your.
put up with this.
If there's any rude language that comes from my general direction, I do apologize.
Okay.
Half the product is just falling
That's
apart.
doing my job.
Never try and build the things you design. It never goes to plan.
Wait, what? Nobody told me that.
And if they did, we wouldn't have listened.
Seriously. Like I said, it's not a hobby, it's a disorder.
I'm starting to actually agree with you more and more, Joe.
What was that?
I said I'm starting to agree with you more and more.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on Mr. B, who can't be with us right now. Rest in peace.
Driving a Zamboni.
Yeah, driving the Zamboni. Local youth was found dead today in a burnt-out Zamboni.
Actually, surprised me. I bring
While riding the Zamboni, that would be.
We don't know. Anyway, I've been working on his. We're about to release his Launch Complex 39 instructions, and I've been working on that like crazy over the past few weeks.
You're about to do what? You're going to release those instructions?
Release the second.
Not the full Launch Complex 39, just the top part that people would use to display, a giant Lego launch umbilical tower. Let's just move that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who these people are who would design and build something like that.
Again,
Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy, man.
Hey, look, if for your major you had to take differential equations, you might go crazy too.
I did.
I know. So did Peter, I think.
Yeah.
I tried to learn them once, and I said, "Nah, you're all right, thanks."
Yeah.
How about those third order partial differential equations?
Oh man, I almost passed out there for a second. What was that, Peter?
Got some Navier-Stokes.
Oh,
Really, I'm having flashbacks now.
seriously.
Actually, I think Scott would have dealt more with Navier-Stokes than you would have, Joe.
Yeah.
I only dealt with it because plasmas can get treated as a fluid
Okay.
that are magnetically charged, so it gets a little bit more complicated than a fluid. But
Dude, that's looking awesome, Sam.
Well, there you go. It's actually done.
You got it.
That's it done. I've had to make a slight adjustment. I needed to put the 2x2 corner plates. I need to get a couple more blue ones to go on the bottom just to support the corners a little bit. Because I've found some black ones in my stock. So pop those for now. It's close enough color. No one will notice. But yes, this is my
Close
target.
the door.
Yeah, open the door.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Hey, you don't have the door opening?
The doors do open. They are on hinges. There's a slight problem with the fact of how I've designed it means that they're using each other's weight to actually stay shut. If you give it a good push, it might open, but at the moment, no, the TARDIS is locked. You ain't going in.
And that was how the last season of Doctor Who ended. Open it! The Daleks are coming!
Open.
Hang on a sec.
What?
No.
No.
Does not want to come.
Don't do it for our sake, Sam. You got it, man.
Do it for
Come
the
on.
show.
so, Scott, I have this Padwell cup of studs just sitting on my desk, and I keep wanting to reach over to take a drink. But my water's on the other side. This is all the leftover pieces from the Iron Man mosaic.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I like
Almost.
That's a lot of pieces.
A parfait. Yeah.
So, like, it came with that many extra pieces.
Yes, because each one you buy, you have 3 options to build.
Oh,
So they have enough pieces to build all 3 options. And then I bought 3 of them to do the big option. So this is
Okay.
how much are left over after the big option.
Okay. That's actually pretty cool.
For those who wanted to see the door open,
Hey,
There we
they
go.
both open. See, I did say they both open. It just is just a bit tight. There's nothing in there at the moment, but for those you guys are on the Facebook group that I share my craziness, and if any of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you would have seen my idea to put a console in there, which actually is the full height of this inside, because yes, I'm nuts, and the parts are on their way. I don't know why I did that, but hey, I've done it. They're on their way. Yes. So, but the only downside yet again is you can't have the doors open because the doors crash into the side of the console.
Mm.
I didn't realize this because I designed the console in a completely separate studio file and then copied it into the TARDIS and went, I seem to have a few issues here.
well, just make the TARDIS bigger.
There is
You know, that sounds like
although
a perfectly rational solution. Just make it bigger.
there is this, and I have sat there before going, I could literally just expand the TARDIS a couple studs outwards each way because it is a square
Yeah.
thing.
Is it just 1 or 2 studs would do the job, or
Literally, 1 or 2 studs would do the job because
'Cause
that
I-
is what it is. And I'm
yeah?
just
If
saying,
you do, I know
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot of brick, but
And
yeah,
you can't shrink the console by 1 or 2 studs.
there is that, and I have thought about that because I can the way some of the console panels I've used like the wedge shapes to do it, so I can easily make those wedge shapes a lot smaller to do that because obviously we've got plenty of sizes the wedge plates come in.
What if you make What if you do a cutaway of the console and just make half of it?
Hang on a sec. I'll tell you what. Let me get my. Let's
The
get the
half-
studio file open.
Yeah, the half that you're seeing.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Or, you know, my thought was make a separate, like, display of the interior.
See, that's what I was going with, was to have to basically have the console as a separate thing that you can then take the roof off, because the roof does come off really easy, and place the console inside. And then you can take it out again. Let me just hide my doors, because if I hide the doors, you can see my dilemma. Screen, application, studio. So as you can see, I haven't got collision turned on at the moment, but
Okay.
this is my said console. But if I turn collision on, basically it pops out the side there. So it pops out the side of the TARDIS, and basically all the way around it just pops out on all sides. So if I make those consoles smaller, then yes, I could in theory do it.
Aren't the doors on those police boxes actually dual hinge, meaning they can open outward or inward?
I hope not. I've only ever seen episodes where they go inwards.
Oh yeah. I know it's that way, but the sign on the door says pull to open, and that's supposed to be the joke because he always pushes to go in.
There is a reason for that, because that actual that bit where it says pull to open is actually, that's where the phone is. So in the series, there's basically a box that hangs off the back of that, and you can pull that little bit open, and there is a phone there, because you see him in several episodes, especially Matt Smith episodes, hanging outside the TARDIS with a door open, and he's got the phone there because he hasn't patched it through back to the console to answer it.
Where's your telephone at?
Separate issue. Let's not discuss that.
Uh-oh.
That is something that has not been added, because if I do that, then I can't open the door. But yeah.
And do both doors on the real thing?
Pardon?
Do both
What
doors-
if the back panel of the TARDIS can be moved outward, and you can move the console back when you want to display the console in there? So if you move the back panel, just give you a little bit more room, and you can actually slide the console a little bit deeper into the TARDIS.
That could be a cool idea.
Make it a little bit modular.
It would basically be a redesign of how I've done basically the walls, but I think if I redesigned the walls, I'd probably do them better, because there's a lot of things as I've built them that I've noticed where there's problems, and in particular what I'm using. So, but the sort of plus side to some of my problems, it means that there's now studs on the inside of the TARDIS where I can put round thingies. And as the Doctor's always saying, there should always be more round thingies inside your TARDIS.
So nerdy.
See, Joe, you can go on for ages about your rockets and all that. You give me a blue box, I'm there, man.
Yeah. There's a difference. There's a difference, Sam. My things are real.
Yeah.
No, they're not. You literally just said they would.
So I guess the other question you got to ask yourself is how much is it worth it having that console inside the box? Because as you saw, if you're rendering, it's not going to be well lit unless you add lights. And
no, this is it. And there is a certain member of this group who shall currently remain nameless, but we all know who it really is, who's told me that I should just whack LEDs in there and house batteries in my roof, and basically have my entire thing lit through the center. And I was there going, you know what?
I guess what I'm getting at is, I don't want to discourage you or anything, but I think it's better to just keep the TARDIS that you have built and just and focus on a fuller size interior, because it's like I don't really see the benefit of having a crowded room where you can see all the walls and just have like a console in there that you could barely walk in if you had a figure that was however many studs tall.
Yeah, and that's what I think I'm going to go with, is have the two things separate, but at the same time, a set, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What I am doing is, we've probably talked about it a few times before, Peter, but the doing an interior. However, my interior has taken on new life, and it's not just a interior as such. It's now going to be a fully fledged mock as well, depicting a scene from the 50th anniversary special.
Okay.
So you'll probably know more than anyone, and maybe Abby will as well. There's the scene where the War Doctor is shooting up the wall and shooting and saying "no more," and then he literally crashes his TARDIS through the wall and takes out a load of Daleks. My plan is to literally build the TARDIS crashing through that wall,
That'd be
and
amazing.
then use the wall as my separator to say, well, there's the outside of the TARDIS, half in flight, and then the other side of the wall is the interior, and a War Doctor holding on, going, "Yeah, I'm just making mess everywhere."
I love that.
And
Hey,
do you have the Lego Ideas TARDIS, Sam?
No, I don't.
Okay, because she beat me to it, but I went and brought mine over as well.
nice. I don't
And,
know what the inside is, Peter. It's like lost somewhere in the house. I have the outside, but not the inside.
Do you know what?
Like an interior that attaches to the doors, but you can disconnect it and just have the TARDIS by itself.
Hmm.
So I was
I
thinking that's something you might want to consider doing for your large scale one.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah, that is. Might do that. Something to work on over Christmas, I suppose.
You can always download the instructions so you see how it's built.
I can indeed. There is a handy instructions page on the Lego website where you can find all these things.
It does open. I forget how.
But what really spurred me on though is you, Scott, because when I visited your house, you had a TARDIS sat on top of all your Lego shelves. Was just this little TARDIS, and I'm sat there going,
You made the baby one. I have it somewhere. Yes.
I made that for the Repop store, which I took you to, remember?
Yeah.
And Millie, and so I still need to make one for her. Well, I just realized this uses non-glass inserts into window frames. That's a good idea, but I don't know how to open it.
I felt like you had to take the top off to get to open.
You have to take the side police box ones off, the
Yeah.
police box sign, and then it'll open up.
That's
So that is a
And you have to take the roof
Lego.
off. Take the roof off as well.
yeah.
That's a Lego Ideas kit.
There's some stuff
Yeah.
in
Yes, it was one of the early ones.
Huh.
I think, did they only make 10,000 of them? Because it.
I don't know.
You'll have to look at the link and see if any are. I don't know how much they cost.
So it's pretty cute inside, even without all the rest of the cool.
Huh.
See, you can do it
It's got
that
the whole
way.
console.
That would be pretty cool. Like making a huge version of.
That was my whole thing was I just want to do the Lego Ideas one, but bigger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot bigger.
And lit up. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sound effects.
Well, you know
Because having a 3-year-old, I never want another toy that has sound effects.
You know what they say? That wheezing sound that the TARDIS makes, it brings hope to everyone.
Yes.
Man, that's how little I know is the TARDIS makes sound effects.
It does. It has a whooshy sound.
Oh, the only thing I know about Doctor Who is the timey-wimey quote.
That's all you need. That's all you need. That's a good start. If you
What's
do-
the whole quote? It's,
I don't know.
what?
What's the big deal about the sonic wrench? It's like,
Screwdriver.
not a wrench.
You need
It's a
to watch it.
screwdriver. 2 different tools.
So, Sam, have you seen the show Community?
Yes.
And you know about Professor Spacetime?
Yep.
I mean Inspector Spacetime.
Inspector Space.
I got confused because my online handle is Professor Spacetime. But anyway, so the Doctor Who spoof in that, instead of a sonic screwdriver, they have a quantum spanner. So, and for our American audience, a spanner is a wrench, correct?
A wrench.
Yep.
Huh.
But Sam, the other day, YouTube gave me a recommended video from the 50th anniversary of Freezing Gallifrey, and it just gave me goosebumps all over. And I'm like, oh, I miss this.
Wait, what was your guys' first Doctor? Who was your first Doctor?
Who?
Who?
I guess Christopher Eccleston.
No, for me, it was Pertwee. I remember seeing a lot of his stuff when I was younger, probably not having any idea what it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching some of the Baker stuff as well. And then I think what really brought me back into it was Eccleston.
Yep.
But I think for most modern day fans, it will be Eccleston that started it all again.
I started with Matt Smith because I was a lot later, but then I went back and kind of amazing. Eccleston was good.
Great Doctor.
Yeah.
Great Doctor. One of my favorites.
Now, isn't there a woman doctor?
Yes?
Yeah.
Ow.
That is the current Doctor.
Yes.
It's still 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the second Doctor is my favorite classic one to watch. I don't know why. It's just, I guess I also like his regeneration episode too.
I haven't watched earlier than Eccleston, so that's another thing on my to-watch list someday.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, but there's also a load of episodes that are missing.
That's right. Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. I think something like 68 or something like that. There's like loads of episodes that are actually missing.
Yep.
That they once aired and gone.
Yeah,
They're
it's just
gone.
like, they put all that money into producing an episode of a television show, and they just
They lost it.
Right. They're like,
No,
"Look
they
at
didn't
what we
lose
did
it.
later."
they just didn't keep it. They recorded over them because they just
Tape was very expensive.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
and they just found an episode like a few years ago in like a TV station in Africa, I want to say. Just 'cause that's where they're popping up, is people who just kept the tapes and put them away in storage.
Yep.
And then they have some of the radio recordings of them, so they've done some animated versions of the Second Doctor's adventures, since there's no known survival of the videotape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated by things like that, like evidence of something that was there that just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it was like
monoliths that just randomly appear. People take pictures of them and then they just disappear. Oh, the crazy.
Oh, out here in Utah. Hey, I have it in my backyard. I'm the one that took it.
Or do you guys remember the clowns from a few years ago? Like,
Oh
what-
yeah, the clowns that kept showing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
We'll find out like 20 years later what that was about.
Oh, it was just when all else fails, just blame it on college kids who have too much time and alcohol.
Right. And easy access to Halloween costume stores.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I was listening to, I can't remember what podcast it was, but they were talking about this guy who's trying to go through and find and watch all the movies that were nominated for Best Picture.
Okay.
And he can't find some of them. Like they just don't exist anymore.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like that just blows my mind. That yes, this was someone's life's work, and it was apparently a pretty good movie or something.
Right.
Now it's just gone.
It's been nominated for Best Picture, so straight away, it's got to be something, hasn't it?
Well, I mean,
I
let's
know
be
they're trying
honest.
to get a lot of those collected and stored.
Let's be honest. There have been some pretty lame movies that have won Best Picture.
I think Crash.
Crash, that's on the top of my list. Avatar wasn't that great of a movie.
Did it get Best Picture?
It was nominated.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was nominated.
There's a lot of bad ones that get nominated, but it's
Because didn't it get outdone by The Hurt Locker?
Yeah. That was the big story. It's
that was his
so
wife,
James
right?
Cameron's ex-wife
Yeah.
beat him.
And then
That
I saw
was a
an
big thing.
article today saying that the Avatar sequel was supposed to come out this week, and I'm like, you've been saying that for 10 years.
I know.
Like,
And,
I'm like,
and
I honestly don't care. I do not see another Avatar movie.
as big as that movie was, like, I can't find anyone who really cares.
Do you know what? I just want to see it just to see if he's made another great step in technology and how it looks and everything like that. But part of me just thinks it's just going to be the same. And that was 10 years ago. And that was like, ooh, that was actually really cool.
Hey,
I guess what we could
James
do
Cameron-
is look to see what Pocahontas 2, Ferngully 2, and if Dances with Wolves ever got a sequel to see what it looks like. That's probably what Avatar
was
is.
bad.
What's that?
Ferngully 2 was pretty bad. I went through a kick where I was rewatching all those like non-Disney animated shows I loved as a kid, and they are scary. Ferngully is scary. What's the one with the dead rabbits everywhere?
The secret of Nim should not be viewed by children.
Movie.
I wasn't allowed to watch Ferngully growing up because it was, I think it was liberal environmentalist propaganda.
Oh, totally. It is 1,000%. Yes.
Okay, granted, yes, and it lays it on thick.
Yeah.
And same with Captain Planet.
Oh, I love Captain Planet. Oh. Their little like racially diverse crew, all their adventures. Very liberal, I love it.
James Cameron has made some of my favorite movies ever, like Aliens and
The
Aliens,
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, The Abyss, but he's not a good writer. He's an amazing director, but
That's like the same thing with J.J. Abrams. Case in point.
No,
Star Wars sequel.
I won't even give him directing. I hate his directing style.
Well, everything's going to have lens flare.
The Star Trek movie in 2009, the only reason it was even watchable, in my opinion, was just because of Abrams' direction. It was poorly written, not that great of a story, and I think he just made it exciting. And that's about it. And then he does the sequel, and it's like, this is garbage.
The sequel for that was just, let's reimagine the Wrath of Khan, and you go,
Very poorly and with a character we've never met before. So where's the menace?
exactly. And he's sitting there going, hang on a second. And then it's when they started chucking in, and I'm going to issue a spoiler alert here for those weird people who haven't seen it. But when you start doing an inverse of the famous Khan scene, and you're there going, nah, come on. It was much more heart-wrenching when it was Spock the other side of the glass going, you have been and always shall be my friend. You there going,
I really like the emotionless Spock go into a rage of anger and just punching the crap out of him. You know,
that I did like.
That
You
way.
know,
I'll give you that, because that goes back again to the first.
that's like that's his character, you know. He was just a tough guy murdering people, and you know.
That goes back to the 2009 Star Trek, where obviously he lost control when basically told him he never loved his mum.
I mean, if it was a different character, I would have bought it. But I'm like, this is Spock. Come on.
Right.
Spock doesn't lose control.
And then at the beginning of the movie is just like you can just see like the writers do not care about the world at all because they're talking about cooling down a volcano with cold fusion because they're like, oh, that sounds cool. That should stop a volcano, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I know this is
also,
Lego. I know we're supposed to be talking about Legos.
Underwater. A ship designed to fly in space. Do you think it really was able to handle the pressure of being underwater?
That bit annoys me because you sit there and go, why? Why?
And plus, up to this point, it's like these are starships. They don't fly in the atmosphere. That's not how their propulsion works. It's like, and it's just they're constantly flying in the atmospheres in these movies.
The only time you really see Star Trek ships, let's put it this way, in original canon series, was Voyager when it was taking off and landing from various planets,
and it was designed to do that.
But yes, exactly, it was designed to do that. That's why it's landing strips.
The only time they entered an atmosphere is when they crashed and were destroyed.
Which I'll admit was a pretty cool scene, and that otherwise, no, that was a pretty good movie. I think.
Search of Spock or Generations?
Generations. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's just once again just full of like if you don't think about the plot, it's like you can get by.
That was
because there. So my favorite nitpicks in Generations is like when he's on that planet firing that rocket. And they're like, "Oh, we got to destroy the star to bend this ribbon so it comes and picks me up." And they're on the bridge, and Riker's like, "Oh, how do we combat this?" And Worf's like, "We will have less than 30 seconds to target the rocket and destroy it." And they're like, "That's not enough time. It's gonna get there in 10 seconds." And I'm like, "Well, this is a Class M planet. We can assume it's pretty similar to Earth. Are you telling me that little rocket has a warp drive on it to get it to the sun in 10 seconds when it would take light itself 7 minutes?"
7 or 8 minutes, yeah.
Once again,
well, also, what's the point of him bending it towards the planet? It's so that he has a permanent place to stand in to be pulled into the Nexus.
But we've also seen that with Kirk, he was just, the Enterprise B gets hit with the ribbon, he falls into it. Why doesn't he just get a shuttlecraft and just, instead of destroying all these solar systems and just fly himself in?
Well, and he's also blowing up a planet, the planet that he's on, anyway.
Yeah. You know what? You got to admit though, there's no bad guy plot in any film that's well thought out, is there?
I will admit, the reboot movies, Star Trek Beyond's my favorite.
I like that one
because it felt like it was like an episode of Star Trek, and I think it had to do with Simon Pegg writing it.
Yeah.
But
makes sense though.
I mean, I should give the new Trek another try. It's just I watched season 1 of Discovery and I'm like, what is this? And then I watched Picard and I'm like, I'm sad now.
Well, it's because, like, you're blaming J.J. Abrams, and right, you should, but also the writers for those movies were Orci and
Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah, Kurtzman and Orci.
The whole thing now, and
who also wrote the Transformers movies. They're not good writers.
Yeah,
I don't know how these guys keep getting work.
I remember watching Transformers, whatever the one that had dinosaurs in it was like 4 or 5, in a theater in Turkey, and I actually fell asleep in a very loud Transformers movie because it was so boring. Nothing was happening. Awful.
Yeah, Michael Bay and Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orci, that is like the dream team of failure.
Yep.
But their movies still make tons of money, so...
Yeah, I mean... True.
If
I think-
2020 were a movie,
No.
Ooh. No, if 2020 was a movie, it's Contagion. It literally is 2020 because it's
Yeah.
all about a crazy pandemic that has just come out of nowhere. There's people giving vaccines to their loved ones and all that sort of stuff when they shouldn't be. There's people spreading fake news. It is literally 2020.
So I've never seen those movies, and I don't plan on watching them right now because I don't want to get more depressed. So like I won't watch anything with like a pandemic or anything.
Too soon.
That's fair.
Don't watch the last ship. I got caught in that one.
And I told my friend this the other week. I said if this was an episode of TNG, Dr. Crusher would have a cure in 45 minutes.
Very good point, actually. Where is Dr. Crusher right now?
where is Dr. Crusher?
But then again, surely if it was an episode of TNG, Wesley would have caused it.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a little science experiment gone wrong, right?
Exactly, right?
I always thought those were always the scariest episodes as a kid of Star Trek when they catch some space disease. And I'm like, this is like the true fear of the unknown out there. And it's like, and it's always another starship that comes across at first, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I want someone to compile a list of all the derelict Federation vessels that have been found through all the series.
And all the inept captains.
How many thousands of Federation crew members have been sacrificed to the god of plot?
All you got to do is, if you want to think about that, TNG Wolf 359.
Wolf 359. There we go.
How many Federation officers and crewmen died? How many red shirts?
We should pause a second. How far into TNG are you?
Season 6.
Okay.
I'm pretty far.
Okay.
So
You're
you've hit Wolf 359.
because all of season 7 is pretty much filler, and then the finale is excellent.
Okay.
So
Come on.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble on season 7.
That's okay. People kept saying the first season's awful, and I'm like, I'll watch. I have nothing else to do. I'm in quarantine. Like, I'll watch some cheesy bad Star Trek to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, because season 1 had that racist episode, which is like really hard to watch.
I was also telling Dad, there's a bunch of like
Code
Jordy
of Honor.
gross episodes in the early ones.
Some of
And,
the first season is quite cringeworthy.
Oh, and there's another racist episode, I think, in season 2, Up the Long Ladder with the Irish Irish colonists.
That was so bad.
You know the one I'm talking about, Sam?
Yeah.
And because there was another colony that they split off from, and the colony they split off from, they only had like 20 people, so they start cloning each other, and they're running out of unique genetic codes. So they're like, well, this other colony needs help, and you were originally part of them, but they're like, oh no, they're Irish, or and they're literally like going around like 18th century farmers and such, and they're like. And then they convinced the Irish people to like, well, in order to have enough unique genetic pairs, we're gonna have each man's gonna have to have like 4 wives, and it's like there's not gonna be a monogamous marriage for a couple of generations just to get enough genetic.
Always the guys that get the.
Right.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So,
Just the idea that people are tuning into this to talk about Lego.
And we're here talking about Star Trek and all its mannerisms.
Hey, I said no agenda.
No, this is definitely no agenda.
I mean, to be honest, I brought up Discovery, so I'm really passionate about disliking New Trek, so I'm going on a full time.
I'm enjoying it, I guess. I don't.
I should give another shot. Just season 1 put a bad taste in my mouth because once again, I'm like, I didn't like how they treated Sarek in season 1. Because like in the finale of season 1, Sarek was like all gung ho about genocide of the Klingons, and I'm like, Serica Vulcan would not condone genocide as a diplomatic solution. And I'm like, what's going on here?
No, there was some question. I like Discovery, but there has been some questionable wordings and things they've said and done about things, and you're there going, well, that doesn't sound very Federation-y or very Vulcan-y, or I admit, yeah, okay, it's like still fairly early on in the season. They're not as evolved as they are in TNG or DS9 or Voyager, but still, it's like the Vulcans have been that way since day dot.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the Harry Mudd episodes.
Yeah, those were good.
Did you
What is Harry?
did you start watching Raised by Wolves?
I've seen
That-
bits and
that's,
pieces of it. Is it any good?
We left the first episode being like, I'm kind of liking it more now.
Yeah, the backstory they're starting to reveal, but it's Ridley Scott is
Mhm.
she's at least the director, but I don't know how much she's writing. But let's just say that she really doesn't like androids.
Is it he or is it his
Is
daughter?
it he?
It's
Really, Scott's a guy.
Okay. Anyway, they do not like androids.
No.
it's about a human being raised by androids, right?
Well, no, so it's androids bringing some fetuses to a planet, but there was a war between atheists and religious cultists, and they both used androids like on both sides to fight each other. So it turns like then the religious people are coming far behind because it took them longer to get to the planet because
Okay.
they weren't like fetuses traveling way faster, and they were all like asleep in their pods. So it's getting more interesting now because we're like
We're getting
seeing
more
both
of the.
sides of the war and both parties on the planet. But
What platform is this on?
it is it's HBO Max, and we have the Hulu subscription to HBO Max, but you have to watch it on the HBO Max site. So we had to do this whole like link the HBO account to your Hulu account, but
Okay.
it was kind of a lot of logistical work to watch it. So
Is anybody watching For All Mankind?
And that,
Yeah.
that one's on Apple, right?
Yeah.
Too many services.
right.
You know
I've been trying to figure out if it's worth me getting an Apple subscription just to watch For All Mankind, because it's all about revisionist Apollo history.
The one good thing is you've all just been on about raised by wolves and all that. Can't get it. Well, there is in the UK we can only get it on basically Sky.
Okay.
So I don't have Sky, but my girlfriend has just said she's got it on Now TV, which is effectively the Sky streaming service,
Nice.
and she's gonna tell me to watch it.
Nice.
So there you go. So if you think it's good,
Lady Sam is among us.
oh, she's present. She's here. She's watching.
So correct me if I remember this. Everyone has to pay a television license in the UK, whether you use it or not.
Oh no, you have to pay a TV license. It's changed recently. So basically, it used to be you have to pay a TV license fee if you're watching broadcast television, and it was specifically broadcast television. What then happened is a couple of years ago when streaming services started coming up, it is now you must have a TV license even if you're watching streaming stuff, because guess what? The BBC streams stuff and it's on iPlayer, and you have to pay that license fee.
Okay.
And even there's a license check when you go watch Doctor Who on BBC iPlayer. It says, "Do you have a TV license?" And you go, "Yes."
That's it.
Of course we do.
Of course
We do, but we have one anyway because we do watch broadcast television
Okay.
now.
And
But
by broadcast, do you mean strictly over the air?
yeah, strictly over the air. Well, over the air or cable television.
Okay.
That broadcast, whatever it comes out from a TV channel. Like even if it's something like news, like if I want to watch CNN, that is considered broadcast television. And I must have a TV license.
Okay, because and Joe and Scott, I think you can correct me because it's like when in the U.S. when they say broadcast television, I always assume that to be something that was over the air, like antennas, and that was always free to watch. If you could put up an antenna, you would get free television.
Yeah, I feel like the definition of that has changed over the years to
Okay.
like I now I consider like cable and satellite part of broadcast television.
Okay.
Because I don't know if anyone uses. I'm sure tons of people still do. What am I talking about?
Because about 10, maybe 11 years ago, they switched from analog to digital for over the air. So people had to upgrade their receivers on their televisions. And so my parents live in a rural part of the country. And so we only ever had over the antenna television growing up. And then the only other option was like DirecTV or whatever, but we did get that later when I was like in high school for like a couple years. But
here's the real question, and this is how you judge age and how cool you are here in the UK. How many TV channels did you have when you were growing up?
So this is on a spectrum of clarity for me. There were 2 channels that came in clear, and then there's probably 3 or 4 more that were fuzzy.
So in the UK, you were considered basically there was only ever 5 channels that were, apart from your TV license, that were basically free to air. So you stick up your antenna, and that's where you got BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, and Channel 5. That was it. And it wasn't until about the late 90s, I want to say, that's when people started going, hang on a sec, there's this thing called cable now.
Yeah.
Or there's this thing called a satellite, and you can get Sky.
So
I still love that Austin Powers song where he's just going, BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three. Like listed all the channels, all the cool channels in England.
Well, BBC Three didn't come along till mid 2000s. I want to say 2004.
Well, my family didn't have much, but we had cable, and I would watch Discovery Channel all day long, which is kind of how I got to be as nerdy as I am.
And then just out of personal choice, I haven't paid for cable or satellite since 2014. So I've just been streaming since then. Because I didn't get the...
Yeah, let's do it for.
Well, my dad owns is a DirecTV distributor, so I've got satellite.
There you go.
Whether you want it or not, yes.
What was that?
It's like whether you want it or not. I feel like we've got a family member as a distributor of something. Have it, use it. So
I know you were talking For All Mankind earlier, but have you seen the HBO series From the Earth to the Moon?
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Really well done. And I saw it when it first came out. We had cable, and then I used the episode about the LEM.
The spider. Yep.
Yes, I love that episode because it really shows engineering a lot of core concepts of what engineers the disease we have.
Good old Bethpage, New York. I used 10 years ago, I worked for Northrop Grumman. And its parent before the merger, Grumman, was the one who built the lander.
Yep.
I I actually drove past the Grumman facility in Bethpage when I was in New York,
Oh, wow.
and I'm like, and then they also have it's in also on Long Island in New York. It's the Cradle of Aviation Museum. So they have I don't know if it's an engineering model. It has to be an engineering model of the LEM in that museum.
Huh.
My favorite scene is where they're stuck at the weight of the LEM, and they decided instead of sitting like a helicopter, they need to do something different. And because that is an actual story of the engineers then getting the cardboard and mocking it up. But I love the fact that the guy leaves that night saying, "I just don't see it."
Yep.
And his chief engineer
Let's make them see it.
makes him see it. And it's just so well done.
And I love where they're standing and looking. And they're like, "Isn't this going to invert your axes? Won't left roll become right yaw?" And it's like, astronauts are smart. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then I love I know it was an artifice and I doubt it's true, but I love the red rubber ball, the hand, because they talk, and so he would bounce off the metal. And
they have
that scene when they're about to ship it, and they pan back and there's like a gazillion balls up on the roof. It's just.
Did you notice they were playing the theme from The Great Escape during those scenes?
No.
They were the ball is like Steve McQueen from The Great Escape throwing the ball in the cooler. So, yeah, that.
We need to watch that again.
Yeah, it's great. And I love the Apollo 13 one because obviously Tom Hanks has made the pivotal movie. And you never see the inside of the capsule in that episode because the episode is more about the press and how the press was changing from, collaborating and kind of fact-based to emotion and, getting eyeballs and making people cry and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was a really well done episode too.
And they made up their Walter Cronkite character. They made up for the series something Seaborn. I remember.
Yeah.
But
he was very good. He did a good job.
I liked what they gave like Alan Shepard a nice arc in the series, like showing his first flight, and then he developed a ear condition, and it's like, he's now just washed up. Is he ever going to get to fly on a moon mission? And just a really good actor for that role too. That was played by Ted Levine, which is, I think a lot of people know him mostly as the
Avril Lavigne's dad.
No,
That name sounds familiar.
he's the lead detective on Monk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep.
But a lot of nice little appearances by actors in that series.
When was that made? Wasn't it the early 2000s or?
I think late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Because it was after Apollo 13, and basically,
Tom Hanks was the producer, and he only starred in one, and that was the last one. Very fun.
And then he was also like, well, I also like Saving Private Ryan, so we should do Band of Brothers as well.
Yeah.
Which was also an amazing series.
I need to watch that. I have not. That's one I have not seen.
Oh, really? Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to see that. So I don't know if I showed this off yet.
Yes.
I got that too. I do. I like that the carrying handle was the antenna.
Yeah.
I've been looking at getting that for ages. I've been sat there going, "Oh, do I?
So
No,
I
see, that's
totally
the thing is,
redefined the engines because I didn't like how loose they were. The top ones. It's just
They're fine.
I just knocked the ones on the edge off on mine because I was moving it.
Uh-huh.
But I modified the carrying handle on mine. I used some clear Technic beams and attached it, so I have it hanging above my other models.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
I actually wasn't sure if I wanted this, and then I heard it was going to be discontinued soon.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might as well go grab it. Then a
Is
couple
it
weeks
really?
later, it's like, well, we've got this on sale now for, $50 cheaper than it was.
Yeah.
When's it being discontinued?
What?
When's it being discontinued?
I don't know.
I think
I might have to go out and get it.
so. It
Oh,
came
well.
out last May. No, so it's been out for a year and a half almost now.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking closer to this summer or the end of next year, it'd probably be officially discontinued.
So, I mean, my official review of it is it was a really fun build. Like, I liked putting it together. My main issue with it is it's another one of those sets where it's like, I mean, it's to scale on the outside, but not on the inside.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't know
Quite
anything.
as bad as the Star Destroyer, though.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to make fun of people, but like, I just don't get that concept of like, you make a ship that looks like the real thing in the movies, but then, you have the pilot in there, and it doesn't even look all that cool. I guess I'm too old for me to enjoy a play set, is what I'm saying.
I think it's them being smart and just catering to two audiences.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
But,
and then you've got the like little escape pod with R2D2 and C3PO in it.
Escape pod is pretty lame.
Yes.
But you got the Nebulon B frigate. Ah.
I do, and I also got Scott one as well.
Yes, he did.
Well, if you find another one, let me know. Oh heck, I'll probably just order parts for it.
You can. This is about $90 on Bricklink. That's what I would recommend. I can send you my studio file if you want to just use that to order.
Yeah, I think a project of mine in the future is to make a whole Rebel fleet with some Mon-Cal cruisers and all those good things.
What I love about this scale is this is within 10% to being in scale with the Star Destroyer.
Yes.
So it's like pretty good. It's like pretty perfect.
So, whilst we got Joe, I'm going to ask the question that I asked you that I thought we should do. So,
Okay.
hopefully,
Oh, yes,
Sam
yes.
is watching, because I'd like his opinion on this. Now, me and Joe have been chatting as we do at stupid times.
I'd wake up in the morning to text from Sam. I got this great idea.
And it's a bit of a mental idea. But what I was thinking is, between the five of us, is we should come up with an idea for a project and a build that we could then sell on and everything like that. But we each design or have our own set for it. So Scott designs, let's say, for example, I don't know, a rocket or something. Peter designs something. Joe designs something. I do something, and Mr. B does something. But when you put it all together, it makes a bigger set. So then people can either just get the one thing that they want, like, I don't know, a rocket or something, but you put it together and it creates this whole crazy thing. I don't know what it could be though. This is the thing, but I was like, it's such a cool idea. I think we should just do it.
So it'd be like a BBTA Creator 5-in-1.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But like the place where my brain hits a brick wall is what?
This is it. I just don't know what it could be.
If you notice behind me, I am pretty like
So what we could do,
it is on a single path.
we can start on give everyone the same parts list and give someone a challenge of what can you make with this list of parts, and that'll start reining in some constraints.
Yeah.
And then and then we also cannot bargain to have certain parts.
We each come up with something that you can build with the same number of parts. So yes, it is a 5-in-1 set, but like, take these parts and you can make Joe's thing, and these parts will make Sam's thing, and the other Sam's thing, and Scott's probably dumb thing, and
by the way,
I don't think we should sell it as that, but
I feel it's important.
Behold, Scott's probably dumb thing. Look, this is it right here. This is Scott's probably dumb thing.
Sam Bradford is in. He wants in on this. He likes this idea.
There you go.
All right. Sam, quit listening. Drive the Zamboni.
Now, so I've been buying the new Space City sets.
Okay.
Mostly with the idea that for next year, hopefully for one of our builds, I actually want to do a scene. Because I haven't done that before, right? So kind of a minifig scale kind of thing. I wonder if what if we used a couple of those sets together, and that is the basis, because then conceptually we're building on a theme that then can be displayed together. So it's a little more like a collaborative build.
Okay.
A unique, so it'd be the same parts, but then we duplicate it 5 times with something that then makes a planet base or makes a world kind of thing.
Mm.
I just, because that's my concept for next year for one of the things I want to do for Comic Arts Festival is it's still kind of a reimagined city space concept. And they're not too bad. I mean, they have a lot of kind of fun parts. That could become something.
So what we should... Okay, sorry, I just had an idea.
Okay.
Oh.
Or wait, to quote Dumb and Dumber. Wait, I think I just had an idea. Yeah, I had an idea. So, yeah, we should continue talking about this, but maybe we make the design process part of our shows. Like,
okay, yeah.
Like, I like that we have... I think Scott's been slacking off. We haven't had a guest in a while.
No. I have lots of research, but it's hard to get people to commit.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if we're looking for ideas to do that, we could do that. We could brainstorm and work on the idea together. I know that might sound boring to some people, but...
Well, and then the nice thing is that hopefully if conventions start again, we could see if we could all meet somewhere to actually show our stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed. And what's really good with actually using the show as a sort of design platform is it goes back to then showing people how we use Studio to come up with these designs, which goes back to doing what we want to do is show people how to use this crazy piece of software.
Well, and I go back to Dave Shefsick, kind of gave me a little view in the back of the zoo they did for Bricks Cascade, which was kind of the last convention last year. And it was awesome. If you haven't seen it, you need to go out, and I know that it's on somewhere out on the web. I took a lot of pictures of it myself, but they basically had a map, and each person was in charge of a section of that map. And then we had an idea, so people said, I'm going to do the elephants, or I'm going to do the monkey exhibit, or, so we could define, maybe I'm in charge of the landing pad and Sam can be in charge of the control center. We could have kind of assignments, and then we have a grid. One of the really neat things they did, though, from a display standpoint, is the front and the back were close to probably 8 or 9, even 10 bricks, so that it went up.
I saw that, yeah. So it was sort of sloped.
See the back, which, you think about a lot of deep builds, you can't really see the back. Well, if this is a planetscape of some kind, it could have, it could be on the side of a crater. It could, we could have it be, we're gonna have to get a lot of light blue gray brick. But
I got tons of that.
that could be a fun, and then there might be a couple other people, I could approach like Simon Lou, who would, I think, be interested. So there's some other people that we could bring in once we head towards a convention.
I think you might be onto something there, Scott, actually, because a planet, or at least that side of that sort of thing, might not be a bad thing. Because, admittedly, in some way, shape, or form, we all kind of like space.
Yeah.
And
I still want to do some. I want to do some like
those stuff, whether it's the Delta 4, it's many Skylabs. Hang on a sec. Let's see if I can do both at the same time.
Oh man, you've built both of them. That's right.
Yeah. 2 Skylabs.
He built both of them. I haven't even built both of them, and it's my design.
Yeah, but I did message you and say, this doesn't work, mate.
It's just the one thing.
Well, I feel like it'd be cool to have you guys critique each other's too. Like you come up with your kind of draft design, and then somebody else kind of critiques, helps identify and solve issues with it. Because that might help people know what.
One of the things I really want to do is I want to do a review on Joe's Skylabs. Now that I've built both of them, I really want to sit here. And I've written a script for it, but every time I read this script, I don't put effort into it. I don't sound as excited as I actually was to build it. And I just really want to review it because I just want people to go out and buy this thing because this is ace. Whether they buy the instructions from Joe's Etsy store, which is conveniently listed at the bottom of this window right now, like that.
Etsy.com shop Lego Joe design.
It's amazing how this works sometimes.
Better watch out for the Lego group coming after your store name.
Oh, what?
The Lego group's not going to appreciate your store name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't really have Lego in the name of your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, get it sorted.
Is that why everyone has their business names like Brick something?
Yeah, Idea Brickworks.
I was going to go with plates or tiles. So.
What was that?
Space-time tiles.
Oh.
I only use tiles.
Huh.
There you go. Whatever Peter ends up designing is definitely going to be coated in tiles.
Hey, me too. People, when I was first putting out my LUT, people were like, "What's the main difference between your LUT and some of these other designs?" And I'm like, I try as hard as I can to not show any studs. Everything is covered in tile.
It's a style.
Yeah.
So here's a here's a suggestion for a show, or for an episode. That we do a show where we all get the same task. So we build something, and then you get a week to build it. So we give each other tasks, and then you get a week to build it, and then we all come to together at the end of the said week or the following week, and we critique it.
And
Can we
we
get
talk
Will
about
Arnett to judge it?
Pardon?
Can we get Will Arnett to come judge? Oh wait, I think someone has this idea.
Yeah, I think so.
What about a Great British Brick Off?
Oh, well, we
Ah,
only have one
I like
British
that.
member.
We only have one Brit.
Right. The not
I
so
like
Great British.
we should definitely do a brick off.
Break off.
Because I mean,
people have asked me like,
we
Joe,
have
you should talk.
pieces. Like I feel like that format could be fun.
Okay, first of all, some of us have day jobs.
Yes.
Steve?
And second of all,
Caught
people ask me like, "Hey Joe, have you tried out for whatever that show is, Lego Masters or whatever?"
Brick off?
Well, you need a partner.
Well, first of all, you need a partner.
Frankly,
Second of
who would
all,
work with him?
I don't work well under pressure, so
I think they're looking at filming in Atlanta this time.
Huh.
Because I saw in the fine print for the application this year was like being able to spend like X amount of weeks in LA or Atlanta.
Whew. If I wasn't busy, I'd definitely be over there.
excuse me. What is no, never mind. No, I'm liking all these ideas. This would actually be pretty fun.
I think we've got a lot of cool ideas we can work on together, and I definitely like the idea of a BBTA 5-in-1 set. Whether, like we say, whether it ends up to being a scene or a set that people buy or whatever, do you know what?
Yeah.
I think it'll be cool to put our collective talent.
We could all get matching T-shirts when we go to the show.
We should
Yeah.
get T-shirts. We should definitely all get T-shirts that we wear when we do this show. Yes, I like it, Scott.
Oh, no. It's official. We got T-shirts. Oh, that's funny.
We just got to come up with something to put on it. Otherwise, it's just a T-shirt.
That's true.
We got to pick color.
Or
And have
forget all this.
all of our different, zero gravity bricks,
Yeah. Logos.
logos. Thank you.
Oh yes, that means I've got to come up with something.
Yes, you do, Sam.
Yeah, and from what you said, I probably need to get rid of Lego out of mine.
Yes.
Like
Like
nobody told me that.
I'm really skirting it because my Twitter handle is Scott B Lego, but not very many people.
That's only your Twitter handle. That's not what you do business from. So
Right. It's not an official business name. I feel like it's
correct.
you over your Twitter handle.
If they wanted to get upset about people's Twitter handles, then I think they'd have a massive job on their hand because there's a lot more people out there with Lego in their Twitter handle than you think.
Yeah, that's right.
And then if you really wanted to do that for impersonating people or whatever, then you could just go to this guy called Real Donald Trump. I'm sure he's not the real one. What about Donald Trump?
So I read an article this week that his Twitter account got hacked. And it was
No, it didn't get hacked. Someone just guessed the password correctly.
Yeah. That's the great part. I mean,
Right.
it's still technically hacking.
The one got hacked.
No, the real one. Someone
Donald Trump's.
and
His
the
password was MAGA 2020 exclamation point.
and the researcher who found it, I think, was nice enough to like email the CIA or whoever and was like, "Hey guys, FYI, make him change his
Might
password."
be Secret Service.
I still think that was outstanding because when I read that report, I was just there going, "Oh, brilliant."
I missed that one.
Do you remember what happened 4 years ago with the Twitter account I was running?
No.
So, man, gotta tell this in a way. I was running a government Twitter account when the inauguration happened 4 years ago. And at the time, we were archiving the account because the official was leaving. And so we had another person on the team who was less tech savvy, and she tweeted, she was the one, I had been gone for Christmas, and so I had turned on the two-factor authentication and given it to her. Since my phone was I was not going to be available. I think I was like overseas. So I get back, it's January 20th. I'm like, hey, I'm going to send you, I'm trying to log in, and that you tell me the two-factor that comes to your phone so that I can go archive her account. And it never comes. And then I get a call from the Twitter DC office saying, hey, we think your official account has been hacked. And I was like, whoa, what happened? They're like, somebody tweeted out a photo of the two-factor verification code from her. And I was like, no. They took it down right away. So it was all okay, but that was a fun heart attack to have.
So instead of texting.
Yeah, she thought she texted and she
tweeted it.
that was fun.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Now I remember it, but I never knew that you had someone from Twitter that would know to call you.
Well, yeah, because we work closely with them.
Right. Yeah. That's.
Thank God. Yeah. So.
Okay, so is everyone getting the Legos they want for Christmas this year?
I did.
I got this one. So
I did. It's the hardest. It's in here.
I definitely got the Ferrari come Jan 1, the Technic GT3 Ferrari.
Yes. The 448, 488 or whatever it is. The WEC one. Yeah, I'm on that. I've been sat there going, yeah, there might be some disappearing of funds from my bank account on January the 1st.
Yes.
And
Does
we
that go
got
Are you alerting your banker so they don't suspect suspicious activity?
and we got Clark the Lego freight train set, or Santa did. So he's a lucky kid.
How old is he?
3.5. So I'll be putting it together for him.
Yeah, I love that. Here's my gift. Yeah.
For you. But I'll
Yeah.
put together.
I get that part. He gets to play with it.
Yes.
And we
You
also have
Realize you can build it more than once, right?
what?
You're going to be building it more than once.
Mhm.
I craggle the crap out of that thing.
We have some close friends who live overseas whose kid is turning 4 today. And back at like the baby shower, we were all like, when can we get your kid Legos? And the parents were like, not before the age of 4. They first said never, and we said that's not
That's not
realistic.
realistic. No.
So then they said when he's 4. And so I know for a fact multiple shipments of Legos have been going overseas to them to arrive around today. We told them they wear like house slippers in Turkey, and so we were like, prepare your house slippers. Get the heart all the time.
Oh. Well,
Jeff, it's kind of got some fun build. The way they use some arches is kind of fun. Definitely, this is a creator set. You know that it's using different kinds of brick than you would see like on the Barracuda Bay. You know which is more detailed. This is more conceptual, which frankly I like that just from for a kid to get this and kind of see how you can build out of a different kind of brick. So no, this is, I agree. Wirecutter had this as a really good set for kids, and I agree. I think it's intriguing the way it's built versus some of the other sets. And for $100, I think it's not much better, but it's a
More affordable.
good value.
Right.
Good value for the build quality. I spent a couple hours
And
done, so it would keep my
Apparently-
kids entertained.
apparently the alternative builds are pretty nice as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's, there's a water, like a mill, which looks interesting, and a skull island, which looks interesting. So yeah, no, I give this a thumbs up. I think this is a fun. Also, this is a part I didn't know about. It's like
Stretchy?
gold. It's not stretchy.
Wiggly.
Oh, it is a little, but it's more like the rigging.
Uh-oh, we're at 12 o'clock.
We are at.
Oh no, we are indeed. Wow.
So, everyone, thanks for tuning in this year. I hope that you will join us next year. Sounds like we've got some interesting things we can be doing.
T-shirts.
I'm sure we're going to do more, t-shirts. I guess I know who's going to have to do the t-shirts. It's my show, so I'll do this guy. So anyway, I'm sure we'll do more with Studio. I think those were very popular episodes, as we seem to be on somewhat the pointy edge of that. And in support of our colleague who is trying to monetize his YouTube, we will be working with him to help, augment and increase that exposure. So please remember our relative websites that we will put in the area below the recording, and make sure that next year there'll be a International Space Station shuttle that will be available. Somewhere in the $80 to $100 range, and there will be a incredible Skylab with 2 options that you can build for a very fair price of $300. So we're yes. So there'll be a couple new sets. I had a teaser on before, but I didn't show it. That I am working on an LUT that would fit my. There you go. That would actually be the size of the Micro Saturn V, so look for that. There will be some new printed tile coming out that Peter helped us with, so we got some fun stuff coming. I actually made some traction on the microfighters, so hopefully I'll get those out early next year. Because mostly I have to get those 5 issued so I can start working on the B-17 and the B-29. I think I need to do those in micro scale. I think those would
I
be,
didn't know you were working on things like that.
yeah.
He's
So-
been working on them for a while.
Yeah, it like 2 years. I even have the stickers before. One of the 5, I designed the stickers before I designed the aircraft, so I got to work that. But anyway, I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday, a wonderful Christmas, Happy New Year. Please enjoy safely, and I hope everybody is healthy going into the new year. And we can't get that vaccine soon enough, so hopefully now we got 2 of them. So I'm hoping. So anyway, great to have all of you on. It's been wonderful. Sorry we missed you, Sam, and we will see you next year for sure. But thank you, everybody, and we will see you next year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, everyone. Whoa.
Oh, he left.